Make you feel so good when you're fucking with a baddie. Baddie, 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 baddie. When you're fucking with a baddie. Baddie. Baddie, 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 baddie. When you're fucking with a baddie.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Baddy Lyfe podcast. Today is a special fucking day. I got double the trouble. I got two bad bitches at the same time, but most importantly, they are the Baddy Lyfe intro song to this podcast. So I'm so excited to introduce Dylan and Dakota Gonzalez.
Hey.
Oh my, welcome, girls. This song is so perfect. Like, thank you guys for my intro.
Hey, thank you for using it. Thank you for using it. Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are awesome.
Seriously. No, it was like when Mike hit me and he was like, "Hey Dill, do you have like the MP3 of the song?" And at first I was kind of like, "That's random. Like, I got a lot of music, Mike. Like, what is it that you want this for?" And then he was telling me he wanted to come use it for like the podcast and stuff. And honestly, I was just like really honored. I was just like, wow, like this is really lit, because we did that like almost 2 years ago. So for it to still, you know, like hold its little ground and do its little thing and be a vibe even through all of this time, it just lets me know that it definitely was the good qualifier for our first song to put out.
Bro, it was tight. He was like, "Hey, I sent you a song. Listen to it. What do you think?" And I listened to it and I'm like, "Bro, this is perfect."
Hey.
Thank you guys. So it's honestly perfect. So for the people that don't know, you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and who you are, what you do, and all that.
All right. Well,
Who was born first? Who was born first?
I was born
You go
first, so I
first.
feel like I feel like, you know, that was the lob to me. Let's see. It's so tough, I feel like, today to really pinpoint like one category to put what it is that I do and like who I am. Like, it's really hard for me to like put myself under one category when it comes to that. But for people who don't know, I guess I'll say I'm most notoriously known for breaking ankles and hearts. Okay, but you know, basketball was kind of the first trade that my sister and myself were known for. However, I've always been an artist first. That's always kind of been the version of myself that I could never turn off. Whether I was in the gym or in my bedroom, like, you know, crying and depressed, or whether I was, you know, partying and happy and vibing with my people, like always being in that artistry, always being creative. That's something that I would say is one of the hats that I wear for sure. So when it comes to my overall brand, I call myself the artist, the athlete, and then the activist, because I also have a foundation with my sister that we co-founded called the Peace Train Foundation. # Love is the movement. And to anybody who needs more love, hop on board.
Oh my God, I want to hop.
Yeah, come on.
I'm a Baddie bitch. Let's go.
Exactly. Like, we just wanted to make sure that we were bringing peace and that we were continuing to uphold all of the things that we truly believe in as far as like what it means to make the world a better place, right? So we were like, how can we do this officially, you know?
I love you guys.
Yeah.
I love that. Like,
Thank
for real, I
you.
really do love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say right now I'm definitely really in my artist bag, even though basketball has been kind of the season through March and Madness, you know, all that fun stuff. But I would say that the artist space is where I'm most focused in, but basketball really never goes anywhere. I think a lot of people who do already know like who I am and who my sister is and who we are collectively as a brand, I think they all have these very high expectations of us and these aspirations for us that they want to see us pursue a very conventional professional career with basketball.
Right.
But I've just never been a conventional motherfucker. I've always been somebody who thinks outside of the box. I always felt like I was bigger than the system, and I was willing to try to figure out how to pioneer my own avenue if that's what it was going to mean for me to take my professional aspirations to the next level for myself. Aspirations.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want what God wants for me, so that's usually how I say that.
There
That's
you go.
good. Staying true to yourself. Like, not just going like what everybody else wants you to do. Like, go with your heart. That's dope.
Baddy Lyfe.
Baddy Lyfe. Yeah, you're a baddie.
You know what? What did RuPaul say? to be good is good, but to be bad is sickening.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Well, you guys are definitely sickening.
Thank you.
In the most positive,
Thank
uplifting
you.
way.
Hey, I love it. No,
Thank
sickening
you.
is good.
Yeah, what's up, Dakota?
What's up? Okay, so I'm Dakota. I'm twin number 2. I came out
The dude.
The
15
youngin.
minutes later, just to get that all the way straight.
Damn.
Yeah.
Same day?
Same day.
Okay.
Same day.
I heard the ones that were born at midnight and the other ones the next day. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? That's crazy.
No, we were like afternoonish, like 3. Actually, I know the time. It was 3:49 and 4:04.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
fours. Oh, you're
Yeah,
four. Oh.
yeah. So let's see. I mean, I feel like she did a great job of like kind of getting us started as far as like who we are, what we're known for. Definitely the hoop scene for sure is like what really drew people to us. Obviously being twins
And
and being
beautiful.
blessed.
I was gonna
you
say
know, thank
kind
you.
of cute or whatever.
You know, we ain't bad, we ain't bad.
No, you guys are so beautiful. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you. Back at you.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say. Like, that's pretty much what I'm known for. And then like the music, like Dill said, it's something that's just been rooted deeply in me and us, like growing up, a huge part of our life. And
Are your parents into music or?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So our mom had us she had us listening to all kinds of R&B,
Like Earth,
Luther
Wind, and Fire?
Vandross,
Chaka Khan?
Yeah.
Shaka Khan,
Oh yeah, Whitney.
Otis Redding?
You
a
already
lot
know.
of Whitney. We were listening to Whitney
Janet,
Houston's Christmas album
Britney
like
Spears.
in summer, in the summertime, getting ready.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So the music is always just like she said, been just a natural part of like who we are.
You guys sing and rap.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
Usually
so
I
cool.
just say like I just create, you know, because I feel like today, especially with the music scene, like everybody kind of does a little bit of everything. Like everybody's capable of that much, and we've seen that from all of the people who have done like such awesome things ahead of us already in the music scene. And when you see what somebody else has done and what they're capable of and you're inspired by that, you start to be like, okay, like, well, how can I push myself? Like, what kind of limits can I continue to, you know, barricade through? Because really, to me, in my opinion, the limit doesn't exist. So
Right.
when it comes down to how I would categorize like my style, I pretty much just call myself an artist.
Yeah, no, you definitely guys have the artist vibe. Like, I love the outfits. I love the looks. Like,
thanks.
I met you first and I was looking at your outfits. Remember we had that I went to that event, that weed event that was like
we
the
went to
boxing thing with Wiz Khalifa.
Yes.
You were crazy.
Bro, I was having
I
a
was like, "Who is
time.
this girl?" But like, you were just in your own world, having a
Yep.
good time and like not worried about nothing. And I'm like, damn, like, okay, shit. I need to be like that, like not worried about what the fuck people are thinking and stuff. Because sometimes I do, you know, I'm not
Yeah.
perfect. I'm not like always the strongest, but sometimes I like, you know, think about people that look or thinking about me or whatever. But you were just
Right.
like,
Girl, I didn't give
Yeah.
a fuck.
Yeah.
I
It was
didn't give a
fun.
fuck.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
There's only so many fucks I can afford to give. And when it comes to like haters and spectators and opinions of other people, unless you are like of value to me in my life, you probably don't have much of
Right.
you don't have much of an impact on me in
Right.
my life.
Right. No, definitely. I think that like for me being on TV and shit and like I got so much attention all at one time and like I didn't know I was not going on there to be famous. I was just going on there
Right.
because I was a fan of the show. I just loved the show. I was like, let me show these hoes how to do it right. And
Right.
like I was just gonna go on there, mind my business, you know, stand on my own and like, you know, just do me. And that's like what I did. But after that, it was just like, boom, all this like attention. And I'm like, at first I was like, oh my God, this is cool. Then I was like, oh my God, this is not cool.
Like, this
Yeah.
sucks.
I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really have a support system. And you know, it just affected me in good and bad ways.
Yeah.
So giving no fucks is probably like the best advice I could ever give anybody, especially myself, because it took me time. But I was like, no, what the fuck do I give a
Dude,
fuck
it's a
for?
skill. It's a
Yeah.
skill. No, dead ass. Like,
And you have to
I
practice it.
practice.
You do.
yes, because
Yeah.
at one point in time, like I gave way too much of a fuck about what anybody else thought or said or this or that. And that also just came with being on a platform and representing different institutions that like held you to seemingly unrealistic standards that really didn't allow you to like learn yourself or figure things out for yourself. Like they had a blueprint, they had exactly an agenda for you, what you were going to be like, what you were going to say, what you weren't allowed to say, so on and so forth. And when you come up in a space like that, you are literally taught to value other people and their opinion and perception of you over yourself. And one of the first things when we had come to play at UNLV, that's another little a little tidbit people don't know. Originally, my sister and I, we were in like the top 100 of our recruiting class. We had originally gone to play in the Big 12 at KU, but that was a shit show for me personally. My sister was actually having a lot of success there. I decided I can't stay here, like especially for my mental health. This isn't a place that I can be in, so I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna transfer. Boom. Ended up here at UNLV, and one of the first things that the compliance officer had told me when I got here was he asked my sister and I, he said, what's more important, your character or your reputation? And I was like, this is a trick question. Like, what the hell? My character is obviously most important because that's like what I go to sleep with at night. That's who I have to wake up with every day. Like, that's what's more important. And then he looked at us and he was like, nope. He's like, today in this age, and especially in the United States, like your reputation, especially as a Black minority, your reputation is more important because that's how everybody is going to know you by, and that's the treatment that you're going to get.
Right. It's like, do you care about how you feel or how other people feel about you?
And there's
that
a balance.
is a trick question. I'm like,
There's
damn, I don't know what's better.
Right, like what do I value more, myself and my opinion, or like what other people think of me? And there's a balance to it. Like honestly, that's why I said it's a skill to learn like where to give what fucks.
Right.
And for me, I was just like, okay, let me just figure out like who I see myself as. Let me like look into the future real quick. Let me see my best self, my transforming ass self. Let me see what she looks like. Let me see how she speaks. Who do I look up to? And let me actually just start to be that person, regardless of what anybody else has to say about it. Because at the end of the day, one thing that I learned from, similarly to you, coming into like fame and all this stuff very quickly, very unexpectedly for us, because we didn't sign up for being famous. We signed up to fucking ball and get our education. That was it. We didn't sign up for notoriety. I didn't sign up for the commentary. I didn't sign up for all that shit. So when people started to expect me to start to care about it, I did, because I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be the one that drops the ball here. I don't want to be the one that like is the black sheep. I'm already kind of a black sheep enough. So let me try to like conform to whatever it is that's being required of me so that I can make sure that I fit into this system and that I can. But the more that I tried to fit in, the harder it actually became for me, again, like from that mental space. But then also like it never affected like people's opinions. I was still constantly getting the same kind of like hate and bashing and this and that. So no matter what I did, I was never going to please people because frankly, they didn't want to see me fucking succeed.
Right. They're waiting for you to fall. But you know what? That's cool that you like were like, I'm staying true to myself and kind of overcame like even those a fly.
Even the flies.
That you overcame, like even when you were in that place, like my opinion matters most. Like how I feel about me is so much more important about what people think. And like I've learned that too. I'm like, fuck, like if I can't sleep with me at night, if I can't, be at peace in my mind, if my mind is a war zone, like what the fuck? Like I don't want to live there,
Yeah, bro.
And I think I cared too much at one point. I always told somebody, they said, what's the best advice you can give to someone that wants to be like out there or whatever? And I was like, don't read the fucking comments. Don't read the comments. And like dead ass though, like I used to read all of them. And I'm like, even when they were mean, I'd be like, oh, I don't care. But after a while, after a fucking while, it's the fact that you don't care, it affects you like so much. I'm funny, like, and I was like really, really funny, like a long time ago. I was class clown in 8th grade, okay? But like I was so funny and like I didn't care. I was goofy. And then like after like Bad Girls Club, like I stopped being that funny person. I stopped being that goofy person online. I'm like, that sucks, because I feel like I lost a part of me. That was a while ago. I mean, I've definitely grown so much as a mom. So like I'm talking years back, but it's still something I had to go through.
Yeah, it's your journey.
Yeah, and like mental health, like people don't like to talk about that shit at all.
I think even now, because like for me, I'm definitely somebody who's a huge advocate for mental health. I'm somebody who suffered through depression for like years. And I never went to therapy. I never like took anything for it, but it was just because it wasn't for me personally. Like for me, I just needed to find God and like get back to myself and like find Dylan. And there was something about therapy that like, no shade. Cause again, I think that it's something that's very,
I'm an advocate for therapy.
yeah, she's an advocate for
I've
therapy.
gone to
I find
therapy.
it to be
Same.
very effective, like very effective. But just for me personally, I actually was very uncomfortable thinking about the fact that I'm paying somebody to like hold my confessions for me. And for me, it stopped me personally from being able to actually fully express all the things I was going through and getting things off my chest. So it almost felt like more of like a waste of time, because then I just started getting more paranoid
How'd you get through it then?
about the process. I found God, bro. And honestly, I went to my music, like straight up. I went to my music. I started expressing myself,
Yes.
and I just started to get really clear on exactly like how I wanted to maneuver life. And once I started getting clear on that, my intuition started to become that much stronger, because again, like I found myself in Christ, I found myself in God. I've had to be baptized
that.
and reborn again
I
on
love
multiple
that.
occasions, because I truly believe that, you know, at any point in time you can start over.
Yes.
And for me, I grew up, and I'll let Dakota talk here a little bit too. I know I take up a lot of the airspace, but
Hey.
for me, like when I was coming up, I would say that it was discouraged for me to actually like speak my truth.
Mhm.
And anytime I had something to say that people didn't want to hear or didn't want to believe to be true, I would get completely shut down and shut and just kind of forced and got like tough love all the time. So I ended up learning how to be kind of tough on myself too.
Right.
Like I essentially taught myself this same tough love, like that iron sharpens iron kind of a thing. And I do believe that it made me like this. I call myself a diamond today, because all I know
Right.
is pressure, and
Yep.
diamonds are forever.
Right.
So I feel like it made me that way. And I would say, and here's where I'll kind of throw the lob to Dakota, I would say that I've actually become like a lot of people's therapist myself today.
Right.
Because it forced me, like every experience forced me to have to like learn like through it myself.
Right.
I couldn't seek outer guidance.
I
There
feel
was
you.
nobody else to help me. I had to find the answers within.
Right.
And once I really got to those truths, once I really found those answers, and once I started being honest about them and like speaking them out, it started to have a cause and effect. I started seeing the domino effect in my life of like
Mhm.
what that growth was.
Right.
And then again, people started to respect what I had to say, because not only was I just sitting here preaching to them, but I was living by this word that I'm preaching, like very consistently,
Yeah.
very disciplined.
And then for Dakota, you are pro therapy,
Yeah.
which is cool. I think I've done both.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me about that.
Yeah, like I would say, thanks for the lob, both of you guys. I would say that, so for me, I enjoyed therapy. I found a person that just worked well with me, and, you know, was just such an incredible listener.
Mhm.
And so I found a good match for me. I think
Right.
that's super important when you are in therapy, to feel like you're comfortable enough to kind of let it out and
Yes, that's
speak, and
For sure.
you know,
important.
so and there's just times when, you know, like, because some people are like, why wouldn't you talk to your family or go to your family?
Mhm.
But there are times when it's just like there's barriers that you have to break down first before you can even approach those conversations
Right.
with your family. And so yeah, no, Dylan, like, I truly admire my sister. I tell her every day how incredible she is.
You guys are both
Ditto,
incredible.
sis.
Thank you, thank you.
I just love
Thank
staring at you guys.
you.
I'm just so happy you guys are here. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
you guys are so
Happy to be here.
powerful. You're
Thank
so
you.
powerful. You really are. Just your presence is like,
Thank
you guys are
you.
strong
Rocky.
women.
Thank you.
But yeah, finding a person that you could actually like be comfortable with
Yeah,
is
exactly.
so important.
It is.
Yeah, I went to
It
a
is.
therapist one time, and he tried to tell me I had borderline personality disorder and I'm like, what the fuck? I was so mad, and I never went back.
You're like, nah, this ain't the guy
So
for me.
good for you that you
Yeah.
found something that you can
Thank
actually like
you.
really feel comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
important.
one of the things that I didn't want to feel going into was like, I'm just automatically being judged, and
Yeah.
like I feel reserved saying things because I don't want to be labeled or named. I just want to be able to express what I'm going through, and this is what I'm feeling. And so I was very fortunate that I had that, you know, situation for myself. But then continuing life, it's like, okay, like, you want to be able to, you know, if you need therapy, go to therapy, but
Yeah.
to live your life without feeling like you are stuck or trapped in this box of like, can I not do this myself? How,
Yeah.
you know, to build yourself up. And Dylan and I, like, we each kind of did our own little thing for a little while. Both went on like very spiritual for me, individual
Yeah,
journeys.
that's good though.
Yeah, our whole life always together. So it's kind of like at some point it was bound to happen, and we just
had
were like,
to
"This is
find
the
our
time."
own identities.
Yeah,
you know?
heal
Like,
your
who
own
is-
stuff.
Who is Dylan without Dakota?
And
Who
vice
is Dakota
versa.
without Dylan? Like, what does our life look like? What does that
Yes.
mean to us?
Yeah.
And then also find like that appreciation for each other
Yes.
again, and that
Yes.
admiration for all the things that we've been through together, but then also individually.
Yes,
I
yeah.
want a sister.
Yeah.
I wish,
No, there's nothing like
I
having a
wish I had
twin,
a
I can't
twin.
lie.
Oh my God, I wish I had a twin so bad. Like, ugh, that's so cool. My best friends are twin boys.
Really?
Yeah, Dom and Steph. Well, they're not my best friends anymore. They were. I love you guys still. And their mom is like my mom, so I was like one of them.
Oh.
But I love that you guys are like
Yeah.
twins and like powerful and like, individual still,
Yeah.
but together.
Yeah, it showed like, to me, it showed the power of like love. It showed sisterhood, that bond, and just how strong that is, that we can
Right.
really overcome anything. That's how we feel.
Right. And finding like that inner strength and inner peace and stuff. Like for you, like when you were talking about you did it yourself, like I went to a therapist and like they try to tell me shit that I already knew. I'm like, I already know all this shit. So it was like really about
Yep.
applying it and actually living it and, being true to that shit. So
Yeah.
I found God too, years back. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, help me. And I swear to God, I had an epiphany and I'm like, oh, it all makes sense. And I'm like, ever since then, like, I moved in a different way and I did things differently. And like my life has been so much more peaceful and more stable here and here, which is important. And I kind of want to spread the same stuff. Like I was on a show where there was violence. Like, choose violence. No, not choose violence. It was like that. And like I did portray or partake in that. And like I look back, I'm like, oh my God, like what do I do? Like how do I, even though I wasn't like the mean, violent person, I was, a positive, whatever person, but like I still was a part of that. And I just wanted to like change the direction and help these girls. Because when I look back at me, I was young, broken, lost, and unguided. Like, so for me, I feel like my job now with this big platform that I have is to help these young generation,
Absolutely.
the girls and the guys, both of them.
Give them all. Look, everybody, every living being needs some guidance in like some shape or form. That's why one of the things that I believe is important is for everybody to acknowledge some form of a higher power, like something that's bigger than yourself. And then once you do that, I believe that it makes it easier for you to start stepping into like your purpose and what you think that your purpose is and how you believe that you're supposed to have an impact on the world. And then ultimately what your legacy is going to be from that. Like one of the things that probably is kind of weird, but also what made people concerned for me at a young age. And this is where I started having like my own mental issues because I never saw a problem with it. Everybody else made it an issue. And then everybody else projections onto me is actually what started making me doubt myself. So that's again why I had to stop giving so many fucks about
I got no more
things that
fucks
didn't
to
matter.
give.
Exactly. I had to be very particular about where I was gonna disperse my fucks to give.
Yeah.
And one of the projections that I would constantly, or the projections that were bad, came from me always wondering about death. Like I was always just very curious about like death and what that meant, and it always just seemed so easy. And the one thing that I always knew was that I was gonna die. That was it. That was the one thing that I was guaranteed in life, was death. So for me at a very young age, I became very curious about like life and death and that dynamic. And it forced me to live a very simplified way of life and have a simplified approach, which one of my mantras is do no harm, take no shit. Because it's just as black and white is that, is life and death. And the more that I started having an understanding and developing an understanding for like what death really is to me and loss and all these things, the more I understood that I really can't control how I die or when I die, but I can control how I live.
Right.
And you ultimately start to have this perspective change. And I think that's why I call myself a perspective doctor, is because sometimes really all you need is a change in perspective just to simply change your approach to life.
Right.
And like how you go about it.
Because most people don't live.
No, they don't.
They're
and
not
it's
living.
sad. And I've died a few times.
Me too.
And a lot of people would probably be like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But like
what are you
really,
leaving behind?
Yeah, like when you lose your spirit, like when
Yeah.
your spirit gets broken, when you've been heartbroken,
We've all been
when
there.
you've experienced like super deep losses in your lifetime, you die. Like
Yeah.
you really die when you no longer want to give an effort towards your life, when you no longer care about whether or not you're harming yourself or not with your decisions. Like you are killing yourself. It's a slow suicide, but it's death.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, okay, damn, like ultimately, yes, I can influence how I can walk my way out of this world, but like, ouch, like it's painful, it hurts, it makes you just want to cry. And anytime I thought about anybody else like knowing all of the things that I would think about, it would just make me sad, because I would think to myself like, damn, I bet you people never would think or imagine that these kind of thoughts could come across my brain, all simply because of the stigmas that they've put around me and the stereotypes that they've categorized me in. But really, it's just like you said, everybody goes through it. Everybody experiences it to some capacity.
Right.
So what are you going to do about that now? So what kind of decisions are you going to make? What kind of efforts are you going to give? What kind of paradigm shift are you going to have to start living and pushing yourself in the direction you ultimately want to be in? It's never going to be easy, but nothing in life worth having is that.
Speaking of dying, there's been times where I literally was so numb, like so fucking numb, where I'm like, what am I doing in this world? Like I've had those thoughts like before Bad Girls Club, like way before Bad Girls Club. And there'd be times where I'm like just trying to ask myself questions. Well, what makes you happy? And like there was nothing there. It was just like crickets. And I'm like, oh my God, how could I be so numb? Like, how could I don't feel anything. And that was also when I was drinking, I drank my feelings away. I didn't know what to do with how I
It's
felt.
on those self-coping mechanisms.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that because, there's all kinds of ways to cope. But for me, like, getting to that place and being in that, I've always been a pretty happy person. Like I was never the person that really like dealt with like a ton of depression, because I was just very blessed, like lived a really good life until 2020 hit, and then like this, all my decisions like hit me straight in the face, and it was kind of like, what am I doing this for? Kind of like, what is my purpose and all that. And I really started like just understanding life at a totally different level. But I was so grateful to like my humanity and the experience of understanding that I'm not alone in that feeling, that it's not just me that goes through that we're all struggling with whatever it is that we're struggling with. And that's why I just feel like it's so important to just spread love and be love. And that's how I feel like we all got connected.
You know, it's crazy because like when you are feeling like that, you're like, I know other people feel like this too. How could I help me to help them?
Yes.
Like, how could I overcome this and then share my victory with other people?
Right.
And like, people will put us in a box. They look at us. They're like, oh my God, these girls are famous.
Right.
I wish I had a blue check mark. And I'm like, fuck that blue check mark.
Right.
That blue check mark don't make shit. Like, it doesn't, it doesn't make me more valuable than the next person. Like, I'm so about that. Like, I've never acted like I was better than anybody. Like, because we are all in this together.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We all have minds and hearts and feelings and doubts and fears and all that stuff. So I think that's so important that, like, you know, you spread your knowledge, spread your story to help other people.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of, we had a motherfucking good time last week.
We did. We sure did.
My God, I was like, oh my God, I love walking with these girls. They're tall. Like I'm not the giant here. Like I've always been around people that were just so short, and like I would hate wearing heels, and like
because it's just like you.
Yeah, it's like me, and then here they are, these cute little petite girls, and I'm over here like
looking like a
Amazon. I know. We're like, we got big bodies, we got thick legs,
beautiful bodies.
Up here talking to God.
Yeah.
No, we had an amazing time. I thought the English Hotel was such a little vibe, and Chef Todd English did his thing with all the food. I was like stuck at the jerk chicken and pink pineapple spot for a minute. Okay, I was stuck there for a while. And Hardeen, oh my goodness, shout out to my partners in crime and injustice, because they really killed it. I loved how they brought it all together. I loved the energy. Yes. I loved that we were celebrating reggae music, especially. Reggae music. I loved that I got to meet Sean Paul. The fact, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that Dakota and I actually put out our first project together. It's called Take One. It was some years ago back in college. And we have a song on there called Sean Paul, where we pretty much like did a remix of all of his little vibes and his little songs.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, where can they find it? What's your SoundCloud?
It's IIGONZ.
It stands for two
Underscore.
guns, because that was our little name.
Our
that
little
we were
group
going
name at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it still holds strong.
Make
so.
sure you guys want to check that out.
Yeah.
What was it called?
GONZ underscore on
Okay.
SoundCloud.
Okay.
So yeah, so I was really grateful for them. I was very grateful for the fact that Hardeen and I and my sister all came together to basically do like this big campaign for athletes. I think one of the things that I have a mission to accomplish with is destigmatizing cannabis.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like because it's considered such a street drug and because it's considered like bad and violent and, you know, all this stuff around it.
Yeah.
Because of that, it makes it really difficult to like participate in it and then not have those same stigmas attached to you, when really I don't feel like it is criminal at all. In fact, it has so many healing benefits. And I was so grateful to Hardeen for putting us on.
Yeah,
I was
facts.
about to say it wrong.
Facts.
But I'm so grateful for them because they really wanted to educate people.
Yeah.
So before we had even gotten into our partnership with them, we were like, all right, let's really understand like what this looks like. We got to make it make sense for everything. Because at the end of the day, we're still professional athletes who have to follow the rules.
Right.
So how can we still make this make sense for us and our brand? And they just opened up this door where they really put us on to all of the benefits, like physically and mentally, with the healing elements that it comes
Yeah.
with, from the bath bombs and the CBD
Oh yeah, they put
and the
us on
body
to
rubs.
the body
bath
rubs.
Bro, I was
yeah.
like, okay.
I still gotta try I've been doing the butters, the shea butter.
Yes.
I got this roll-on CBD. I have this like body butter and a bath bomb. Bro, listen, there's kids could use CBD bath bombs because me and
Yeah.
my daughter took a bath together. And let me tell you, our night was so smooth. She had a good night. Like,
Yeah.
she was calm. Usually she's crazy. And like, she had a really good, easy night that
Yeah.
night. And
Soothing,
I was like,
relaxed.
I want to like see what this does. Cause I wasn't just doing it just for fun. I was like, you know what, let's see how this affects, you know, me and her. And it was so beneficial. And marijuana, like, I understand all the stigmas that come with that, but like, weed has helped me so much.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
really,
Same.
it's given me anxiety, okay? Because I'll get that anxiety, but that anxiety was a good anxiety. It helped me think. Right.
Right, it pushed
helped
you.
me be like, okay, what do I need to do? Like, I don't know. It's always helped
It
me.
elevates you, all right?
And
That's what it does.
Yeah,
It
Bob Marley
elevates you.
said smoke weed. And
Come
I
on.
said, okay.
He said, "Be happy, don't worry,
Listen,
be happy." And you
yeah.
had a big old joint.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yo.
they don't want you to be woke out here. That's
Right.
the thing. And it really
Sleep.
will tap you into that. And I actually had a freaking terrible experience the first time that I smoked weed. Oh my goodness.
Girl.
Oh my goodness. Listen.
She had a couple bad trips actually.
I've had many too. It's okay.
It was bad. Like I was tripping, but it was also because at the time I didn't quite realize or correlate the fact that I was just going through so much mentally. And one of the things that like the THC itself will do when it goes up and activates your brain is it just is like full fire, like do your thing, like from your appetite to your mood to your anxiety to your physical body. So when you're absorbing all of that energy and you're not fully prepared for what like that key is going to unlock within you, it can be an overwhelming experience
Yeah.
where you're just like, this is not for me. I never want to do
Never
this again.
smoking weed again.
I'm never. And then I just kind of had to start like taking my baby steps. And really, again, it just came down to me realizing as a person, I had to start changing my perspective for a lot of the information that I was receiving.
Yeah.
So the other night when we were at the party and everybody's like going crazy and chilling, having fun, like I don't drink. So
Yeah.
I can't necessarily participate in the festivities with people when they want to take shots and do stuff like that because
Right.
that's just not how I have fun. But for me, when I get to participate and again, even just drinking little drinks that have CBD in it,
Yeah.
like it actually like relaxes me. It calms me down. It puts me into a good mind state so that even when I'm going into like very high energy places, which can give me anxiety, when I'm going into these very high energy places, I still feel at peace.
Right.
And I'm still able to get the best out of the experience as opposed to
Yes.
going in, not remembering the night or going in and
I
just completely
know.
like being like, fuck, this night sucked because I'm just over there pouting in a corner because everybody's more lit than me. But frankly, I believe, and I'll let Dakota speak on this too, But I personally believe that everybody else kind of has to get fucked up to be on my level, because everybody always thinks that I'm drunk just because I be having such a good time.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm like, this is why I just have to be around drunk people so that I can fit in, so that people don't think that I'm off the shits, but I just am like this.
That's what's up. You drink, Dakota, right? A little bit?
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit? Okay,
yeah.
girl. Well,
Occasional drinkers over here.
Don't know about you dealing with stuff, Dakota. Want to go out?
yeah, for sure. No,
I
for
mean,
sure.
I won't overdo it. Like, I've overdone it many times in my life, and I'm like, that wasn't fun. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't fun. I like just to like be
Yeah.
balanced, have a few drinks, hit it
Feel
a couple
good
times, and I'm like, okay,
in
I'm
the
at my
vibe.
happy place.
Yeah.
But sometimes I overdo it most of the time.
It is a vibe.
I'm with you. I have some incredible friends out here that DJ, that are out in the club. So when I'm in the mix, I'm like, if I'm out, I'm going out.
gotta
I'm having a good
participate.
You're
time.
going out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm
I
having
know
a
what
good
you're
time.
talking about. I'm right in the mix with them. Like,
Hey. That's why she said
She's
she's like, I'm already there. That's why I'm
up
catching
here.
up.
Right,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. I
Yeah.
was sober for a while.
Yeah.
I stopped drinking for a while, and I was like, dude, I could have fun without alcohol. When I realized that, I was like, oh my god, life is like a little bit more fun than that, because I always get too fucked up, whatever.
No, I feel that. But yeah, no, I had such an incredible time. I'm so grateful to Zachariah and Adam.
oh yeah, shout out to the guys.
Shout out to the guys
I love
and the
that.
women, Jane,
yes.
Brittany, all of you, just so incredible over there. They made us feel so at home, so
It was
welcomed.
great.
And
Such
then the
quality
event
people.
was just so beautiful. And like we were saying, I feel like this love movement is a universal movement, and I feel like that's what that entire night was about. Was just showing love and giving love, and through food, through music, through culture, through style, all of
Gramps
it.
Morgan.
And yeah, and the setup was just great.
And the
I just
artist
appre-
that was there,
Yes, it was
beautiful,
so
beautiful
incredible.
painting.
Yeah, you got to
Oh,
have
yeah.
all these little experiences in like one setting, and I just thought they did a fantastic job
I
pulling
would
it
do
together.
I would do that any day over like going to like a nightclub.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Because it was different vibes. We went out the
Totally.
next day. It was so
Yes.
cool, but like
Yeah.
that, just being outside, being like around the music, and like
getting to move
more like
around.
festivities was so much
Yes,
fun. And then we go to
yes.
the club, and it's all like
in your little
Dude.
Well, we still moved around.
I don't like going to
Especially
the
like
club.
in your little
no,
section.
me neither. I feel like an auntie.
That
Yeah.
was my first time, like dead ass. That night that was my first time being in a club, like for real, in years, like having a club experience.
Damn.
I don't go to the club, like unless there's a reason for me to be there,
Right.
like we're celebrating somebody or something, or
Or
you're
getting
paying
paid.
me, exactly, or you're paying me to be there. Like I don't go out like that. But it's also just because like I'm really to myself.
Yeah.
And that's why there's only particular events that like I really like to be a part of, because it really has to mean something
Yeah,
to me. Like
I'm sensitive.
it's gotta move me. It's gotta motivate me. It's gotta inspire me, or like make me feel curious about what could
Yeah.
potentially unfold there. Or
But
something.
what's at the club for you anyway? But some
No,
fuckboys.
Yeah, pretty
I'm
much.
sensitive to people's
sometimes
energies.
it can be networking. Like I'll be
Yes.
honest, I have met some really cool people in the
Yes.
club, so I don't want to like completely just like grata
No, I know. I
the
get it.
scene. But
You're right.
overall, yes, the
You're
culture,
right.
like for what it has become, it's just like you pretty much just going there for like attention and having a fucked up time.
I met this guy at the pool, and like they just try to holler. I'm like, okay, what do you got to say? Like, but he's actually a fucking comic book guy, and like he showed me his shit. I'm like, holy
Wow.
fuck! Like, see, it's like when you say like fuck boys, but then again, it's like you don't know who you're gonna meet,
Right.
who does what, who's talented in what, and like that is a good thing. Like I don't really go out much either because I'm like really sensitive to people's energy. Like a lot, like all that's
Girl,
a
I
lot
don't
for
trust
me.
nobody. That's why I don't go out. I don't trust
Yeah.
nobody.
I
Yeah.
feel that. I see when you were talking about earlier, when you were talking about Dylan going to the weed cage and going all crazy. So when I've partied, that's like my world. I'm in my own zone. I mean, I was out at some hookah spots, jumping on the couches before. Like I've got it turned up. Like I've got a little wild child.
Oh yeah, this
I
real
love
Midwest
that.
shit over here.
No,
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah,
love
no.
that too.
I try to monitor. That's why, like these days, I'm like, I try to, like you said, I'm very sensitive to energy and also just like getting to a place for me where I took so much time to myself that I kind of forgot about the fact that I'm like somebody to people.
Same.
Yeah,
You know what I
same.
mean?
I was like, why am I putting myself in this like, closed off box? Like, get back out there. Like,
Yeah.
shed your light. Spread
Yeah.
your words of positivity. and
Exactly.
Good energy.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so now I'm trying to be like just, you know, smart, not so
Yeah.
much strategic, but just mindful.
When
of
we
like
going
how,
out?
yeah, we need to go
we're
out. So
going
look,
out again this
look,
weekend. We gotta go get a
come
nice
on.
little vibe on. But one of the things that I'm really excited that we definitely all have to go out for is coming up actually later this month, and it's the Trap Poetry Jam.
Oh yes,
I'm
aren't you guys
so
like...
excited. Listen.
Well, she is. She's about to do a little something.
Oh, I'm getting creative. I'm coming full left wing with it. Cause like for me, even though I'm just going because I genuinely love the people that are putting it on, they mean so much to me. So shout out to D-Say, that's my guy.
Okay, what's up, D-Say?
Yeah, he's the one that's really putting it
Unique
on,
music.
and he's giving and shout out to Unique Music. He's the one who was like, hey, you know what? Like, I feel like this would be something you could really thrive in. Because before I even really became confident in my writing skills and music, I was always just doing poetry, because poetry was just the ultimate freedom with my words. And I'm a wordplay activist. I could say whatever the fuck I wanted, how I wanted to say it. There didn't have to be some kind of like orchestration or system or format to it. I
Yeah.
could just literally say whatever I wanted, and whether people got it or not wasn't my fucking problem.
Is it gonna be
It
like
was
Def,
art.
Def Jams back, or what's it called? Like
It's gonna be
something like that, where you go up there and you like, it's like you're like, it's a poem, but you're like speaking it with your feelings and shit.
Yeah, man. Look, I don't know what to expect from
God.
everybody else, but what I do know is that the vibe they want to set up is pretty much like, you know, Future meets Janae Aiko meets who else? Lauryn Hill, like meets all these vibes. Like that's what I think the energy is gonna be like. And then when you add the Drip Doctor to the mix and to the building, it's definitely gonna be fly for sure.
Well, fuck, I'm really excited. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna come support you, girl. Like
Hey.
that is tight. I'm not really like a music person. Like I did a couple of songs like back in the day. They're so late, but I was like, you know, this is not me. I'm not a real gangster bitch. Like I'm just not. I'm not gonna try to be someone that I'm not. But one thing I've always done, I always wrote stuff, and I would look back at my my journals and like they were so depressing. I'm like, what the fuck? You just sound like a depressed ass bitch. But I was always a happy person. But on the inside, I was not.
You
like,
had deep feelings.
yeah, so I when you say poetry, like I always wanted, one thing I always want to try one day is to do like a poem and like play the piano and just like speak my feelings. But we're not there yet. Maybe one day. If you guys want
Speaking in
tickets
good
to
system.
see Dylan at the Trap Poetry, the description will be in the link down below. Tickets are on sale. Just look at the description, check it out. I'll be there. I'm gonna come. I'm excited.
Hey,
I want
I'll
some
be there.
inspiration. I love being inspired by people, you know?
Yes, that's right. It's
What, Mike? April 27th. April 27th. And where is it located?
It's in LA.
Okay.
So yeah, April 27th out in LA. The Trap Poetry Jam is going to be amazing. I do believe it starts around like 7 p.m. and it'll just, you know, I personally see it just kind of going with the flow, like straight
Yeah.
up. Like I don't want to say it goes from here to here because
I'm
we'll see. You
I'm
know, I
so
think it's just going to be a big old creative vibe. I think what I'm really excited about is to get to do a live performance. That's something that I'm very passionate about. I love being able to perform live. I love singing the national anthem. I love going out and dancing.
I've
and,
seen you sing
know.
for that girl off Netflix, the boxer lady.
Yeah.
You did her event. What was her
yeah.
name?
So I got to, well, actually it was Justin, her brother.
Yes.
What? Yeah, it's the Biggs. And her name's Ida. But the Biggs family, they're like literally a big boxing family. They're very well known. They're so amazing. They're so polite, so supportive. And they're just go-getters, man. Like I have so much respect for them. They hustle together like no other. And it was such a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, I
So
saw you sing.
like to get to be a part of it,
okay.
I was so honored because I sent them some of my unreleased music because I have like a big old like basically mansion arsenal full of all this unreleased music that I'm very patient with because I don't, you know, feel the need to just be dropping music and
Right.
you know doing
Right.
things conventionally. I
Right.
just don't see shit that way.
Yeah.
So for me, I've just really appreciated the journey of growing into my artistry. But I will send people my music and get feedback and allow them to use it for things or whatever, just to almost be ahead of the game in a sense. and she really fell in love with one of my songs called The Drip Doctor. And that song was a complete freestyle. And you probably heard it, but it's called The Drip Doctor. And it was like basically my first coming out song, like as an artist, not just being Dylan Gonzalez, but like what my artistry meant to me and how much permission my artistry gave me to like move the way that I do, like out in the public. Because really, especially as a woman today, you really don't want to go and like expose yourself and put yourself out there and do things to get criticized. Like you don't want to do that, especially when you feel like you've received a lot of that and it is a bitch to have to bounce back from. So you would rather just keep to yourself. But when I found my identity as the Drip Doctor, and I would say I was really like birthed out here in what I call Flex City, Nevada. I like to kind of token that. But I call it Flex City. Flex City, because everybody comes here to flex.
This is Flex City?
This is Flex City, baby.
Where you from? Where do you live? Flex City,
Flex
bitch.
City. Everybody come here to flex. We do that for a living. That's just how it go. So once I was kind of birthed out here in my identity with the Drip Doctor, I was like, let me start really like becoming international, becoming global with it. Let me stop being afraid to get outside of my comfort zone. Because listen, growing is done outside the comfort zone. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Girl, yes, no, definitely. I totally agree. Yeah. Honestly, like I started like this whole podcast thingy, and like at first, like when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I was like, a little nervous, a little shy, like, but now I'm like, it's just like you have to be uncomfortable to like get great and be great and do better and stuff. I know we're like way over our limit, and I think we need to do this again.
Definitely.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm honored to have you guys as my Baddy Lyfe podcast theme song.
It's lit.
Can we shoot that video?
Yeah,
we might as well.
Might as well.
For real.
Like,
We need.
the fans will love it. Everybody will be like, this collab is so awesome. And we're three tall, strong women.
Facts.
And I think we can do good things together.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna do great things together. We're gonna put the bar like way up there. It's gonna be seemingly unreachable, but like I said, the limit doesn't exist.
It's possible.
Positive.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, definitely. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead and tell everybody where they could follow you. Go ahead, Dakota.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Dakota.Gonzalez, right there. So awesome. And that's pretty much where I'm mainly at. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Yeah,
Okay.
I got and TikTok. Wait, I am on TikTok, and it's the same Dakota.Gonzalez, but the O's are zeros.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll put that down.
Okay.
Put that down there.
Description. It'll be in the description.
Yes, thank you,
When in
thank
doubt,
you.
check the description.
Check
Check the description out.
Boom.
Same. Dylan.Gonzalez. That's where you can find me predominantly across any platform. If you search my name, I'm most likely to pop up. Worst case scenario, if you ever need to like go back for reference, then just check my Instagram page out, because I'm pretty much constantly self-promoting all of my other platforms on there. On Twitter, I believe it's Tugons, IIGONZ_. And I believe the Drip Doctor is my TikTok handle.
Yeah.
And what was the movement that you were doing? The positive? What was it called again?
Hashtag Love is the
Love
movement.
is the movement.
Love is the hashtag. Love is the movement.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can
love
find
that.
us at the Peace Train.
The Peace Train.
Mhm.
That was it.
Peace Train Foundation on Instagram.
Okay, Peace Train or the Peace Train.
If you look up the Peace Train,
It'll
it'll
just pop
pop
up,
up,
right?
but
Or-
it's just Peace Train.
Or look up the
Peace Train
hashtag too.
Foundation.
Hashtags always work.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this was a really special, exciting podcast. You guys are beautiful. Thank you so much. Shout out to Kwon at Gorilla Cross Studio.
Whoop, whoop,
You're
Kwon,
the best,
thank you,
Kwon.
thank you.
Yeah, we're at the Gorilla Cross Studio, just to like, be quite frank where we're at,
Let them know.
And until next time, you guys, please fucking comment down below, give us a thumbs up, and follow and support everybody.
Yes,
Peace
please.
out.
Peace.
Hey. Sing it, girl.
Make you feel so good when you're fucking with a baddie.
Baddie. You could be my daddy.
Hey.
Zaddy. Come to me the Addy. Addy.
When you're fucking with a baddie.
Oh, that's not the right part.
It's okay, bitch. Sound good.
It's okay. Sometimes a freestyle's necessary on the outro.
Hey, 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 hey.